Hello, slugs and snails. I'm Happy Hat, and today I'm going to alleviate Monica the Journaler's curiosity. On my last sketchbook tour, I dropped this bad boy on y'all with no real context. So I'll be doing a speed paint while telling you about this killer snail, so that hopefully someone can find some kind of entertainment for my trauma.
Emotional, damn it!
Okay, let's get started. So, this story is a result of my place in the world panini and my subsequent quarantine boredom. I was sitting on the front lawn of my house trying to receive my daily allotment of much needed sunshine when I spotted it, the snail. Now, I've seen many a garden snails in my lawn, however, this one was much larger than any I had seen in my neighborhood. Nay, this snail dwarfed all others in both size and speed. I held it in my hands as it raced along my arm, and I realized that the connection that this creature and I had was the friendship I oh so craved from my lonely nights locked away from the disease that plagued the land. Yes, I thought, this was my sign from a god that life does persist in such a cruel world. I named the thing Elwyn, a fitting name, I decided, for an enchanting creature that came to me as a gift from the earth. At the time, my sister had a large terrarium full of the most beautiful growth that I thought Elwyn would enjoy, while I set up a more suitable living space for it. Yes, Elwyn did in fact love my sister's planty palace and made a home of it very quickly. In fact, after I set up something for the creature and returned to transport it, I found much more than just Elwyn, but rather many, many tiny creatures looking back up at me. Elwyn had created a family in the security of my home. I moved the creatures into the habitat I crafted for them and set off to complete my online work for the day. Upon returning to check on the family later in the day, I noticed that their numbers dwindled significantly. In fact, there was only one baby snail hiding beneath a rock left in the habitat with Elwyn. Needless to say, I was confused, but I assumed that there must have been a small crack in the container I had them in that allowed the tiny thing's masterful escape. I watched the habitat closer now, though. Elwyn lifted its head up, as if sniffing the air after waking from what I can only assume was a slumber of some kind. It looked towards its kin and approached it to what I thought would be a motherly embrace, but what followed was nothing of the sort. As Elwyn arrived at the hiding spot of the tiny snail, it put its face close to the child and slurped the thing up in one swift motion. I leapt back in surprise, nay, in horror, as I watched what was meant to be a wholesome moment between child and parent become some sick scene from a slasher horror movie. I took to the internet for answers. Why had WikiHow lied to me so much about the care of garden snails and their offspring? What god would allow such a beast to roam the earth? I found, however, that no god had constructed this beast. No, only mankind himself could engineer such a weapon of destruction. You see, I began to realize that the shape of Elwyn's shell was not the same as that of your ordinary garden snail. This impostor was not a garden snail, but a creature that has been named the rosy wolf snail. This freakish creature was created by genetic engineers for the sole purpose of hunting down and eating other snails, moving twice as fast and with keener senses than its prey. This beast was a carnivorous machine, and I had it living with me, living off the bodies of its own children. I was left in a predicament. I could choose to keep the thing, watching it slowly starve to death, so that it could never harm another snail, or release it back into the world where its death would not plague my consciousness, but where Elwyn would likely commit many more atrocities to snails of this earth. After much deliberation, thought, and counsel of my peers, I decided on the latter of the options. The day that Elwyn must go. I looked up because she wasn't eating, or I don't know what gender it is, or if it even has a gender, but it wasn't eating anything that I was giving it, so I looked it up, and it only eats snails. That's the only thing it eats. So I'm like, well, you know, this is what we're gonna do then. You can go, I guess, and survive. Don't eat too many snails. Goodbye, Elwyn. And that was the last encounter I ever had with Elwyn, my cannibal snail. So here's the final result of my speed paint. Hope you guys enjoyed my story, and thank you, Monica the Journaler, for the story idea. A very special thank you to my patron John Wilder Marchiori for supporting me on the Crown tier, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay jazzy, y'all.